outside the front entrance to Warwick Students' Union HQ, where most students might not be aware that the unions actually run from. Now, for the last 3 years, Warwick Students' Union has actually made a financial deficit in the fiscal period. In 2007, the union made a deficit of £100,000. In 2008, the union managed to make a deficit of £300,000. And for the period ending 2009, the deficit is set to grow to £750,000. But how has the union managed to do this? And why, if any, is this deficit going to continue? Well, to begin with, we have to understand that the union relies upon money donated from the university. Warwick Students' Union receives a grant of approximately £1,300,000 a year from the university in order to facilitate its running. But when we compare this to other unions, for example Southampton, that receives nearer £2 million. So in comparative financial terms, our union is managing to do quite well. However, both Southampton and Warwick have turned a financial deficit in the period of the last 2 years. Failing to turn a profit cannot be sustained in the long run, and hence why we've had to move into a period looking at rebuild and change at Royal University. But to explain why we're looking at such a large deficit in 2009, we'll move into our other business correspondence for today.
The main question would be as to how this £750,000 deficit has come about. Is it simply due to the transition phase during the rebuild, or is it a systematic problem associated with the union in general? One major failure of the union rebuild was that a sufficient temporary space was simply not accommodated for by the TES. The union before the rebuild had a capacity for 2,500 students. The TES only had a capacity for 1,000 students, and even at times this was lessened to 800 students for health and safety regulations.
One problem lies in the habits that many second and third years develop at Warwick. Warwick Students' Union finds it consistently difficult to attract second and third year students back to campus for union events once they live off campus, especially given the popularity of alternative nights in Leamington Spa or Coventry. School days and SCORE remain the main events to have more second and third years than first years in attendance. With the eventual closure of the TES, many sports clubs have had to conduct their circles off campus this year, reducing the commercial activities of the union yet further.
So Tomo, what do you see as the main cause of the deficit?
Of the union's deficit?
Yeah.
Well, it's this year obviously because we're in the process of rebuilding the student union, so we've only got sort of half our normal commercial services open. So our venue, when we had the test, the venue capacity was 1,500 compared to 2,500. And obviously now we're in tempo, it's considerably less than that.
Okay. And what would you like to be seen done next year with the new president in combating this problem of the deficit?
Well, I mean, it's all budgeted for. So in terms of our budgets, our outlets next year are budgeted to perform very, very well. And so it's all sort of planned. I mean, a deficit isn't necessarily a bad thing for a business. A deficit is only a bad thing if it's unplanned, but we've planned for this for many years. And we always knew and we always expected that the rebuild would cause a deficit, and it has, but it's all planned for, and so the future looks bright.
So other unions have suffered deficits in recent times
Yeah.
as well. Is there anything you think makes Warwick Students' Union stand out in its attitude to how it's performed in the current difficulties?
I think we've always tried to be innovative. So our outlets are, we've realised that there's been a national decline in bar sales within student unions for many years now, and so we've always tried to sort of look at what else we do. So we've always had food outlets being quite a big part of what we do, and certainly with the new build, the new Dirty Duck, which is a new graduate, there's going to be a real focus on food there. So we're going to sell carveries every lunchtime. It's going to sell food all day, right into the evening, and that's including weekends as well, because obviously the campus food provision at weekends is pretty poor. And obviously we've got other outlets, all of which will sell food,